Welcome to the 23 lecture of the Semantic SEO course. In this lecture, we will talk about some language models that Google publish. And in the future, you also do these type of researches by yourself. It increase your knowledge regarding how the search engine works. So start from Pegasus. This is basically the language model for the summarization of articles. When it comes to the summarization, Google usually use it in the key points, and the key points basically coming from the facts, not from the opinions or relative probabilities. This is also available in the Google documents. And the one other thing is that Google have summary creation or the summarization engine. They also contain the same methodology and same mindset too. Here you can see in the example, it have the four sentences and it just filter out the two sentences that are the facts and it leaves the opinions. For example, they choose the mythical and the names, it names the model. They choose the first and the third phrase while ignoring pure white and the cool name because this is the opinion. For a definitional articles or a definitional questions, you always go with the actual absolute facts or try to create the consensus at least in your document. Do not have like conflicting declarations. Even a single adjective or a single adverb that used in a destructive way can eliminate answer according to the search engine. And in the future, we rank for the answer, not just blue title links or the feature snippets. My main, we rank in the inside the chat window, like in a chat GPT or AI engines, not in the future, but in a now. The simple or a single word that you choose in your definition might affect your overall visibility. Okay, the another model here we have the real lamp. Basically, it is augmenting the specific concepts even not told there. For example, we paid 20 at the Buckingham Place gift shop. We don't have word basically the pound. Now search engine know that Buckingham Place is located in the United Kingdom and UK currency is pound. So currency is the pound and it founds the answer to fill the gap. These algorithms basically are expensive. That's why we give in our answer or our in the text everything explicitly. So when we give the definitive answer, we mentioning every attribute. Like for example, we not just tell the Putin. We tell Putin is the president of Russian Federation. Basically, you need to describe or cover every attribute. Tell the president's name, country, or relevant attributes. Must use the long form answer by giving every kinds of details. Basically, this thing is also found in the patents. If I go to the SEO by the sea, Bill Savlaski also describe about this is basically the patent. Now, one thing that you should need to know is if Google publish an announcement about that specific concept, and we also have the patent about that specific concept, that means it really used by the Google. Basically, here you can see this specific name and this specific name are the same. That means they are using, especially in a knowledge domain or the knowledge based construction for the knowledge domain. Once you read this patent, once you find these research paper, then you extract different results from there. Then you can understand search engines and their classification. Here is the conversational search. This is what we do with the chat GPT. We search while giving some type of conversation. This is important because in the previous lecture, we will talk about the query paths. Here in this case, we search for Turkey recipes and then after that we search craving. So, and we get the definition of it. But here now we search for the Turkey recipes, then we search for craving and it giving the suggestion that is craving Turkey. Since there is a query path of craving with the Turkey, so craving Turkey appears here. If you do same like this here, we search for the Polar Express and then a Christmas story and it shows the relevant suggestions. That's why we always take the query meanings from the user behaviors as much as possible and you need to guess all the connections and all the association. So we go from there. Now the next is lambda. Lambda is basically is what we now doing in a content briefs. Basically, we connect one question with another as language agnostic. The next one is mem. Basically, this is connected to our topical map. Now, in this scenario, the one thing that you should need to know is now, for example, if you create the topical map about tracking route consultancy company. Let's say, for example, your source context is tracking route consultancy company. In this case, you will need to get all the tracking routes, all the mountains for tracking, and all the necessities and the guides for tracking. If you just talk about the mountain Fuji, in that scenario, your topical map mainly about the Fuji and the activities that can be done in a mountain Fuji and go beyond just tracking. If we talk about overall the tracking shoes, our topical map one more time will be changing because we have the different type of products and we need to focus on product reviews a little bit further. According to the central entity and the source context, the semantic content network will be changing. In the example, we search for mountain Adams and the mountain Fuji for the activity or equipment or all the necessities that are given to you for that contextual vector. If you augment it further as a website, you will need to actually choose different type of connections. One more time, I told that according to your source context, your topical map will be changing. If you focus on Mountain Fuji, just for example, the restaurants or the tennis courts or the hotels or the trekking routes that is closer to Mountain Fuji, we will be covered, and also even the mythological meaning of Mountain Fuji will be processed. In the scenario of trekking, all the trekking mountain routes riversides, you process them together with the tips, books, or famous tracking or the tracking apps. If you focus on tracking shoes, now the topical map will be also changing and we also include some e-commerce activities too because in that scenario we have some products. Another is open sourcing the bird. You can actually work on a bird to understand the overall relevance. Here actually we see the two sentences, sentence A and sentence B. For example, here the man went to the store and the sentence B is he bought a gallon of milk. This is we call the discourse integration. While creating our answer, you need to use these type of word sequence to understanding a little bit more. For creating the specific type of contextual flow in the sentence phrases or the phrase sequences. For example, we have this sentence and it predicts the next sentence. Here the milk is bought by the man. So it connect both sentences. But in the case of that specific scenario, the sentence A is a man went to the store. The sentence B is penguin are flightless. So its label is not next sentence. That means these are two different sentences. So if you write the answer or writing or creating your specific answers, you need to use these type of word sequence to understand previous and the next sentences to each other. When it comes to column, this is about the verification or accuracy checking of declaration. Column is basically talk with your documents to extract some certain facts and correctly check from their knowledge base and they verbalize it and they check whether your declaration are similar or not. The next one is pathways language model. Basically, it uses the explanation or the text to understand the efficiency of the language models. And all the text here you can see giving the positive results because it also works with the prompts. Google already use these type of things for the code writing and the many other purposes. The next one is confident adaptive language modeling is basically the layer to decrease the amount of time that is necessary for generating the text or the response to the prompt. That's why when the confidence is good, this specific layer is exist. It means that now we have Google Gemini. They will need to use this confident model for actually decreasing the overall cost.